So, in a poll, I put this question out there. 4 of you voted yes. So, is Morbius as bad as a movie as people are making out to be? The answer is no. There's this one review that I saw by a person who reviewed it. He said, let me look at the title of this article here because it's funny because he says, or she, whoever wrote this piece of shit review, a profoundly bad movie. And it's not profoundly bad. And in fact, Jared Leto's acting is fine. The director, Daniel Espinosa, writers, Matt Sazma, Burke Sharpless, Jared Leto, Matt Smith, Adria Arona. It's not that bad a movie, and I don't see why people are saying it is. And this reviewer was saying, oh, it's just like bad PG-13 cutscenes. It's like every other MCU movie has that same shit. But this guy probably doesn't like the movie because it doesn't have his favorite cape hero in it. And as far as I know, compared to the comic book source material Morbius, it seemed like it did a pretty authentic job, at least to me, even though I've never read or looked at those comic books. But it was entertaining. The action wasn't half that bad. The CGI was got a little bit hanky. The fight scenes a little bit CGI and funny, but I've seen worse CGI. And I think most of these reviewers just want to pick apart and shit on things that they can. But yeah, they'll leave, the CGI shit in She-Hulk alone. If you've seen clips from She-Hulk, oh my god, the CGI is like it's terrible. But the guy who wrote this article shitting on Morbius is probably the same one that goes, oh, She-Hulk is brave and stunning. Oh, the women hero we need, a real fucking simp kind of person. I kind of picked that up from this article. I could smell the simp just reeking off it. But yeah, Morbius, here's the opening fight scene, just a few seconds of it. And that's not that bad. Yeah, Morbius, I say this a lot about a lot of movies that I watch and review, but it's above average. It's decent. Jared Leto does a good job playing, Dr. Morbius, and I think it was Matt Smith playing Milo plays a great supervillain. He revels in how evil is. He takes out cops. He takes out people out of bars. He just revels in the evil that is. And I'm not going to spoil the movie here. The end fight scene is just as interesting and as good. The one thing I did find silly about this movie is somehow he flies. Like, Dr. Morbius finds out he can fly and glide. And I don't really see how that would work with chimera genetics. That's just genetics. Unless if there was, bat-like mutations on him, I could see that. But he just glides around on sound waves and ultrasonic sounds, which I mean it was silly, but we're talking about a fucking comic book movie here. And for this reviewer just to say it's like what was the phrase? A profoundly bad movie? No, I've seen worse movies. This is not a profoundly bad movie. In fact, I would say it's a profoundly above mediocre movie. And it seemed like the actors had fun. It seemed like Jared Leto had a good time playing Morbius. And it's definitely worth the watch. It's worth the rent. It's worth the buy on Amazon, Vudu, or even the $15 fee on Netflix to see it. It's really not that bad as a comic book movie. And compared to the other Marvel comic book movies, there wasn't much wokeness in it, which I appreciate, which is great. And it was just about the source material of Dr. Morbius and his blood disease that he cures through genetic mutation and chimera genetics, which was a kind of cool aspect to this movie. So is it as bad as people are saying? Is it as bad as the reviews and dipshits are saying? No, it's not. In fact, I would say this one is well above passable. I liked it, and even though the PG-13 cinematics or like PG-13 cutscenes and like bad action, like what the fuck does this guy know? You know, and that's one thing you do have to keep in mind about reviewers is these people wouldn't know how to enjoy a movie if it walked up and kicked them in the dick. And most these guys are just saying that because it's low hanging fruit and because it didn't do well in theaters, you know, they need to find and focus in on something. And this is reviewer that I'm talking about, he, she, whoever they are, is probably the same person who gave Avatar like good reviews, or like any other litany of shitty movies. He probably says She-Hulk is a great and moving breath of fresh air for female comic book heroes. And probably, like, I can smell the simp in this article. Like, oh yeah, I can smell it. But anyways, aside from that, decent, fine, good, entertaining movie. And yeah, if you guys can catch it on Netflix, Vudu, or anywhere else, it's worth a watch. It's entertaining. It's good. Even with its flaws, pretty damn decent movie. And in closing, I will say just because a movie doesn't do well in theaters doesn't mean it's naturally a shitty, bad movie. There's plenty of good movies out there that have never gotten good reviews or made a lot of money. Gods and Generals, for one, and Gettysburg. And another two massively underrated movies that if you haven't seen those, they're about the American Civil War. They're pretty damn great. Classics. Those are the movies I grew up on, in Gettysburg and Gods and Generals. I even saw Gods and Generals in theaters. Such a great experience. Good movie. So, yeah, with that, fuck the negative reviewers that are saying shit about this movie. They're just a bunch of armchair assholes. Uh, because it's a good movie. Anyways, said that 2 8 times. See you next time. Take it easy. Have fun. God bless. And take it easy. So if you watch this far into the video, you're awesome. There's some extra shit on screen if you want to check out. There's also a subscribe button somewhere. And yeah, take it easy. God bless. And again, thanks for watching.